Well. Welcome back to another episode of Where's Waldo? Or rather, Where's Dan? After watching the entire series, I felt like I'll be remiss if I don't unpack and talk about Virgil and his manipulative self. In today's video, I'm going to talk about my Season 2 theories and what I believe are Virgil's true intentions. I'll also talk about Kaleago and his origins and the powers that I believe everyone is trying to access. Please know that I'm going to spoil this series, so if you have not seen it, well, you've been warned. Let's start by watching this scene.
You ever think about what it means to capture a moment in time on piece film? To give it an eternity it was never meant to have?
In this scene, we hear Virgil talk about the properties of the dimension as he saw it. Here we hear that he spent about 20 years researching Kaleago and the dimension. Based on his statements, one can assume that Virgil has researched Kaleago and understands the lore behind this dimension. According to the author, Kaleago is not based on anything real. Kaleago is described as a trickster god, one who's able to bend the laws of time and space. We see evidence of this throughout the series as Kaleago attempts to escape into the dimension as Dan is watching the video. Kaleago was trapped inside a sculpture by the Baldung witches, who decided it was worth sacrificing their magic in order to keep Kaleago at bay. Throughout the series, we get a glimpse of people who access Kaleago's powers, and what we notice is that these individuals can tap into people's dreams and communicate with each other. I believe the Baldungs were attempting to prevent Kaleago from returning to the world in order to prevent humans and mankind from accessing this type of power. Let's be very clear, Dan was actually accessing Kaleago's power each time he actually was watching the video. We get evidence of this as Dan begins to communicate with Melody. At some point, Dan is influencing Melody's decisions. Imagine if you can access an old president in some dreams or memories. That would be crazy. We also get the sense that Dan was accessing Kaleago's powers when he actually had the scene in the supermarket. Let's watch the scene again.
Is this really happening?
Why wouldn't it be happening? Stay out.
As you can see, Dan was beginning the process of accessing Kaleago's power and communicating with Melody, but then Cassandra Wall happens to come in and sticks her hand straight through the actual screen. I believe what we're noticing is that Kaleago, or maybe someone who actually has access in the actual dimension, was preventing Dan from accessing that particular dimension. And it's clear as evidenced by Voss or Samuel or other people who are living in the dimension who are tapping in or stepping into Kaleago's power and preventing and or manipulating situations as they see fit. I believe this entire theme will play a major role in Season 2. We also know that the Voss Society has been attempting to release Kaleago in hopes that Kaleago will provide access to power or favor that they would not have received unless they release Kaleago from the dimension that he was trapped in by the Baldungs.
Do you really understand what you're about to do? Tearing a hole between these worlds.
I'm going to save humanity from itself. From war, from poverty, from sickness.
No. Whatever that thing is in there, it's not a god. It's not a savior. It's a force of complete and total destruction.
The Baldungs originally worshipped him and then later risked their lives to lock him into another dimension. It's unclear what Kaleago would do upon arriving here, but according to Iris Voss, he can do just about anything, and she fully expects him to solve all humanity's problems, at least restoring her fertility. We also get the sense that Samuel initially didn't understand what was taking place at the final scene, where once he opened the portal, he just made this statement.
I don't understand.
From this particular statement, you get the sense that Samuel didn't fully understand what was taking place because he assumed something else would happen as a direct result of opening the portal. Based upon what we see, I believe that Virgil knows that Kaleago lives in a dimension that operates like a window into the world they live in. Also, we can assume that Kaleago's dimension can provide access to see events and or timelines that currently exist. Virgil has been playing the role of voyeur this entire time with his shady self, and has been watching Dan's reaction to videotapes. I mean, the moment I saw a static figure try to come out through the screen, I would have been like, yep, I'm good. To be honest, if I was Dan, I would have spent my time focusing on what Virgil meant by his statements for trying to save anyone. I'm not putting a single foot into a dimension without knowing exactly what I'm getting myself into. You got me messed up. Well, Virgil, I believe, has been able to witness the power of the tape and believes Dan has been speaking and communicating with the next dimension. He doesn't even seem surprised as Dan reveals what he knows in the season finale. So, from what I can see, Virgil is attempting to tap into Kaleago's ability to see into other dimensions and timelines. But I believe we'll learn a little bit more once Virgil starts noticing that first, Melody is alive and that Dan is actually trapped in that dimension. I believe this wrinkle will add another layer to the story for next season. Also, we know the company was involved in the process of blood genealogy analysis where they were researching people and the history of these people. This part is important because I believe being able to access the blood and history of individuals who are connected to the Kaleago also means that they may eventually be able to locate individuals who can permanently free Kaleago and tap into the dimension that Kaleago resides in. So what are your thoughts? And what do you believe are Virgil's true intentions? Please make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and thanks for watching.